episode 60. Who'd have thought we'd get that far in for it? Welcome everyone to All Four Back. I'm, of course, Chester 430, joined as always by my co-broadcasters, Hadlington. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, all.
A very good evening to Shads. And also a big hello to someone who's actually taken over from Tank for a little while. So he's still got all the graphics and all that ready for it. So good evening to Ben Thompson. Good evening, sir. Good evening, mate. Thanks for doing this, mate. Really do appreciate it. Cool. We were going to have you like last week, but kind of like it was a last minute thing. But we've got you here this week for the foreseeable. So glad to have you on board. Anyway, rolling on to tonight's program, we have a bumper episode for you tonight here, chaps. We have a rundown of the BGP and SCS Round 3 that took place at Bydgoszcz GP. We have a Week 7 Knockout Cup review of the first legs of the semi-finals. We have Shads with his Rider of the Week, as always. We have the draw for Round 4 of the BGP and SCS taking place at Chorzów. And then we have the Week 8 league previews and a minimum match counter discussion. So a lot to get through tonight. But we kick things off with the BGP Round 3 that took place at Bydgoszcz GP. And hopefully if the spreadsheet does appear on my screen, hopefully it does. Just give us 2 seconds. I think it's also being Ben's first time. It was also there was nerves for, I guess. But I'm going to bring in first if I can, as I always do. BGP, a surprise winner as well. Someone who's been the talking point of the last few weeks of STS.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, hats off to Toby. He came in as a replacement, and to get the win on his GP debut, I mean, I don't think anybody has come in like that before. It's good to see. He's obviously, for a newcomer, his enthusiasm for the game. He's in every servers most days as well, and he even commentated on a meeting later on in the week as well. So hats off to him for. I don't think it'll be the only one he wins, to be honest.
Yeah, it was a very it was surprising. Of course, he had a win in his first race, then he was a last, and then went through the rest of the cards. So it was very, very impressed by Mr. Griffiths there. Of course, he has been the talking point of this season so far. With his, he had the wrong average first of all, which was which was a bit of a talking point. But that's what you want. You want riders that have got the enthusiasm that gets you going and all that. You know what I mean? So I say fair play to him, and to beat some really top riders as well in that championship. You know, it was for a debut. Who knows what he could have done if it was a full season?
Yeah.
We are just waiting for the table to come back up.
I mean, obviously Shads rode against him in that meeting as well. So yeah, I was just trying to find the heat they were in together. Heat 9.
I think we may have
even 101.
Wow!
Exactly. Yeah, says it all, really, doesn't it?
Yeah,
I think one of the biggest surprises was Stefan only having one heat win all night.
Yeah, that is true.
And only just scraping through to the semi-finals as well.
He does that quite a lot.
He didn't get a gate, did he? Didn't.
No, I don't think he did.
That's the first time I've seen.
Yeah, probably not. However, that result does have us with a new leader of the BGP at the moment.
Dan's eating.
Yeah, sorry, my fault. Sorry, I thought I had time then. Sorry, my bad. Sorry. Yes, we have a new leader in the BGP standings, only by a point. He outscored Stefan by 4 points, scoring 15 in round 3. That was Powis. So Powis takes the overall lead only by a point. So we've got some issues with Ben Thompson's screenshot at the moment, so do hang fire, chats. But as his teammate, Mr. Hadlington, Powers on top. Do you think he can hold it for the rest of the season?
I wouldn't be surprised if he does, to be honest. I mean, him and obviously been practicing with him and Sis for these meetings, and to be honest, out the gates, both of them. I mean, they're so just that much. Obviously, that is the level you want to be at. That much quicker than. Sis there, depends if he uses his Wolves bikes in the GP. Oh dear. But no, he's, to be fair play. I mean, he's pretty consistent. 15, 16, 15. I mean, it's pretty. Anybody attack that, wouldn't they? To be fair, I mean, to be 1 point ahead of Stefan after 3 rounds as well. There's not many people who can say that in the last few seasons, is there?
No, absolutely not. I mean, and just looking at the table now, so looking at your top 8, so you've got Powers leading on 46, you've got Stefan second on 45, Sislakos on 41. Then there's a big gap between him in third and Dret Lotzka in fourth on 34. So still plenty more points to come by in the last sort of 4 rounds. One thing I will say, I think this has been announced by the person that's obviously this we're talking about. Wolfie has made the announcement that he is actually withdrawing from the rest of the season. So it's a disappointment for Wolfie, of course, being last year's SCS runner-up. But I guess with IRL stuff taking full effect, I guess he's been left with not really much of a choice. I don't think. But again, still plenty more rounds to go in this one. Obviously, Chaw's off another Polish track, so a lot more practice that they will be needing. Of course, the round 4 takes place on the 23rd of March at 8:30. Track record there is a 42.3 set by Stefan, so it's a big old track riding at Chaw's off. But of course, we'll get into that details in the not too distant future. So as we move on, we're going to have the SCS round now, which is the review of that. And this one had, I believe, if I'm right in saying, without having the spreadsheet in front of me, I think it was Shad's done it. There you go. What a boy, Shads. What a boy.
Plan B.
Yeah, Plan B. It was a win for Jan. Bouncing, literally a back-to-back win for Jan. Of course, he took the second round, and he's now won back-to-back this meeting. Quite a few non-starters in this meeting, of course. Most noticeably, Bewitcher and Lango, unfortunately. So 2, in the first 2 races had a non-finish. Of course, it was looking good for Cam going through the qualifiers on an unbeaten run, but just slipped up in the semi-finals there, and scoring 3 points out of the semi-finals in the final. I know you're in this meeting, Haz. We're going to bring in Shads if I can. Shads, the SCS. Good to see Jan back in winning form. Obviously, just come back into the game, and to get back-to-back SCS wins is a good stead for him to carry on with the rest of the season.
Yeah, he had a bit of a slow start to the meeting, didn't he? He was third and second, and he got a win, another third, and then won his last 3 races, which must have upset Cam a little bit, because Cam looked like home and hosed after the qualifying round with his 15 points. But fair play to Jan. He obviously learned a bit from the qualifying, and I think he made a good gate as well in the final. So yeah, that's back-to-back wins now. So it's looking pretty tasty up there at the top of the table.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just looking back at the yes. There we go. Well, the grand finals of all 3 rounds. JC has been in all 3 grand finals this year so far, as has Cam as well. So Cam and
Kaney.
Of course, yes, Kaney. My apologies. It was only David No Fear that was the non.
Yeah, there's only been
one.
5 riders in the finals across the 3 rounds.
That's
Strange,
absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Rounds 2 and 3 had the same 4 riders in the final, which is strange, to be fair.
It just shows how competitive the SCS is. Of course, the top 3 go into the BGP for season 21. So, there's still plenty more to play for. Because looking at the table at the moment, we've got Jan currently in front on 50. Big Slokani, who won the first round, currently on 46. 3 points ahead of JC on 43. Cam still nipping at the heels on 42. Then another big gap between Cam and Scotty B. Scotty currently in 5th place on 34. Then you've got David No Fear on 28. 1 point ahead of Skyride on 27. Then we've got Wayne, who bounced back after a 2-point score in round 2, scoring 12 points and finished on 24 so far. Capesy's currently on 22. 1 point ahead of Hadlington on 21. And then Ben Thompson on 19. So still relatively all still to play for in the coming rounds. You agree with that, Hads?
Yeah, definitely. The races, to be fair, I think every race is. I know they say the GP is tougher, but I think it's hard to predict a winner from these SCS meetings. To be fair, I mean, I know we've had the same finalists in the last couple of rounds, but even with another track with a few holes in the track, shall we say? They put a few
hidden
people
holes
off.
this time.
Yeah. Well, it's obviously, as you said, it's good to see Jan back. I mean, obviously, we all know I've had the first season. I've had with Jan. I mean, he helped me massively in that first season. So fair play to Jan. I mean, we know how good he can be. He could easily ride in the GPs for me and do pretty well. So yeah, I think the only good thing I didn't take any last places in this one. I was steady with the second places in the first 4. I got a few points gifted with people going in the grass and hitting the holes, but and then David No Fear smashed me into the grass in my last one. I got the point and took to the semi-final, which it was tough, to be fair. The semi, Scotty just went into the fence coming out of Ben 1 and 2 ahead of me, and I was actually beating Cam for about half a lap, I think, and then he just got back and I couldn't get back past him, so it was a decent race. I thought he was done for, to be fair. So yeah, overall it was a pretty good meeting, to be fair.
Some of the riders are riding a different line. They must have worked out a line coming off the second bend and sort of riding mid-track and then diving into bend 3 and drifting out. Whereas most of us were going wide on the back straight, which was a slower line actually, as I found out. I think that's when Sizzler got past me. I think I led Sizzler for a couple of laps, and he was taking the mid-track line, and I was going wide, and he was catching up so much speed there on that. And I think that's where all the fast times were coming from, which I didn't realise until during the meeting, and it was too late to change by then.
Oh dear. I will ask you all one question if I can. Was that track better than Ludwigslust?
Yes.
Yes, for me, no, because I scored 8 points at Ludwigslust, so I preferred that one.
Well, unfortunately, our screen share has actually crapped up. So apologies for that, chaps. Hopefully Ben can get it rectified for the next show, but if not, don't worry about it. So before we have the ride of the week, we're going to have the KO Cup reviews. Of course, the semi-finals took place. The first legs took place. And the first match that we had was the Poole Cowboys taking on the, dare I say, in form, Newcastle Wolves. And the scoreline reflects it there as the Newcastle Wolves won by 53 points to 37. A big away win for the Wolves, which puts them pretty much 1 foot in the grand final. Hadlington, 4+1 from 4 rides. Might have been the score you wanted to get, but your lads certainly took the Poole Cowboys to school.
Yeah, it was another good meeting for us, obviously. It helps when you got 3 people scoring double figures and another one paid for double figures as well. So, yeah, it helps massively. I think, obviously, it helped that we'd already rode there this season. So, we just had to refresh for like a couple of practice sessions beforehand. We already knew the basic line as well. But I got to say, the team was so fast out the start all night. I mean, Ads and Owen and Sis in particular. Some of the starts they were making, it was just, I don't know, it's just like everything seemed to come together and go forwards in the meeting instead of, we had a meeting the other week where everything went against us. So it was a bit of it does come around. So, yeah, it was very nice to contribute at some points as well.
Well, you pretty much led from Heat 3. It was at the Sorcier and Ads MFT 4-2. And you just pulled away and got further and further and further in front. Of course, the Cowboys were missing Craig. And somewhat, but they brought in TJ, that man again, TJ. Disappointed in scoring 3 points from his 4 program rides. Of course, he was a lot better than that, but I guess it just wasn't his night. So, looking ahead to the second leg now, Hads, you see yourself with effectively 1 foot in the grand final.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as Caesar said there in the chat, it's only half time. So if we just got to go out and do what we do at home, do nothing silly, and we should be able to get through to the final quite comfortably. Hopefully, it's been on the home track. Obviously, we're expecting, like, Craig is pretty good around Newcastle. He wasn't in this meeting as well, so. And whether Sutton Rotten makes an appearance and Newcastle, we'll have to wait and see. So it could be all different in the second leg. But I was going to ask Shads if he enjoyed his commentary doing this one as well.
Yeah, it was fun. There was absolutely no chance that the Cowboys are going to pull this back. For all the comments in the chat from Sizzler and Parallel and himself, there's no chance, absolutely no chance. You'd have to have a thinker.
We have our screen share back. Happy days.
Oh, are we? Oh, good. Yeah, it's I mean, I don't know what the hell happened to Bobby. He's just probably one of the worst meetings he's had in recent memory. I think the only ones that can really come out with any credit are Wayne and JC. But the rest, pretty poor, wasn't it?
I guess it was a tough take.
Most beaten out the gate, mostly. It was amazing how quickly. I mean, we all know Sizzler and Owen obviously gained like demons they were, but it was just Wolves were just the better team on the night. Pull back to his mistakes on the back foot from the start.
Yeah.
And when you're chasing, you're always going to have to take a risk. Either diving in too early and whatever. And we saw what happened in Heat 15 when Wayne put Sizzler into the grass. But I mean, that wasn't going to change anything.
Wow. Well, I did say to Stiz after the Wolves beat the Dragons, I said that Owen was definitely the difference maker in that meeting. And of course, here in this match as well, scoring 11 points from reserve. I mean, he's definitely one to look forward to in the second, especially around his home track. He's going to have a lot of form. And so the Wolves with 1 foot in the grand final of the KO Cup. who will they face as we look ahead? The second match we had, this one was streamed by Mr. Griffiths as well on Twitch, so thank you for that. It was the Oxford Dragons taking on the Powder Hall Scorchers. And now here's Shad's Rider of the Week. Shaz, who you got, mate?
No, we're going to talk about this. No, you're not getting away with that, Mr. Winchester.
Well, where do I begin? I mean,
you began with a 5-1.
Yeah, we did, and then the rest of the meeting happened.
And then you went. It's all downhill from there.
Oh well, it was a bit of a. Yeah, it was a little bit of a well, what can we say? It was a nightmare. It was an absolute nightmare. You know, we had, Sculio and Dip scoring 1 point between them from 8 rides. They can score better than that.
I believe that was Sculio's first home meeting. I probably see why now. It's definitely not Hackney.
No. Well, I was in the races with. I was in a couple of races with Sculio, or one race with Sculio. He was just getting beaten up. Every race. I mean, that Heat 8, for example, we were on a 5-1, and literally Sculio got beaten up on the back straight, and then fair play, Tintin and Dave Nofer. They got both of them on the run to the line. Got me.
You've got to mention Tintin, his first meeting of the season.
Oh yeah, absolutely, Tintin.
Back to the bonus point king again.
Yeah, my hats off to him. My hats off to him. He was, for his first match back, to score that is definitely, wow. He was pretty damn good. Yeah. And I think the only way that Scorchers didn't score any more than 53 is Limo didn't ride. I mean, I know that Ryan is a class rider and he can score more points than that, but he was having an off night, but everyone else was just chipping in and boom, 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 boom. Reserves outscoring the Dragons reserves, and then you got Mareki dropping just 1 point, beating Stefan twice. Who does that round Oxford? Not many people. And again, Cam with 11 points. Cam and Jan in the engine room. That was a strong pairing. But yeah, as you noticed, that the Cowboys match and the Dragons match had the same scoreline. So yeah, and also all 3 matches in the league next week are on the same day and the same time.
Yeah, I think also
that's never happened before, apparently.
No. Go ahead, Ads.
That's the first time I saw a team use rider replacement in Heat 8 and not put the number 1 in.
Well, it didn't need to, really.
Well, I know, but most the teams have always put in the stronger.
I don't think they could anyway. They couldn't do, because I think
the Smiler was a lot lower average, so it would have been 1 above and then rest below.
Yeah, they could have put Cam in. I thought I'd be expecting to see Cam in Heat 8, to be honest, but he was used earlier on.
Yeah, but I mean, the Scorchers were pretty much like they were top dogs that night, and my hats off to them. Yeah, but I will take some credit. I've since I've come back, I've scored in every meeting. I haven't had a 0 yet, so yeah, it's
And you scored in every race as well, so
yeah, I'll take some credit with that. But yeah, I mean, I gotta say, fair play to the Scorchers. Ryan as a guest, Cam, Jan, Mareki, Tintin, David Nofer as well. Definitely was my hats off to you boys. You've definitely put the Dragons to the sword. But of course, we go to Powder Hall on a track we've won at, but it was only by about 4 points. So we need, to bounce back from that meeting, because we've got Panthers next week. So we want to sort of put a marker down to say that we know we're still in this. Crazy things have happened, but of course
that middle pairing, the middle pairing of Jan and Marecki, or it could be Cam and Jan. Depends how because they changed the team around. They've had Cam at 5, and I think that's going to do the business for them. I mean, you'd fancy those three over Dip Caney.
Yeah.
You know, especially at Powder Hall.
Well, I mean, like I said, they oh, go ahead.
Does that mean we get in round 3 of you two guys next week as well?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, I can tell you, I can tell you what, I can tell you one thing.
Oh, there we go.
Dan's gone.
There we go. He's panicking already.
So we'll go to Powder Hall and we'll see what we can. I ain't saying anything, bro. I ain't saying anything. You'll have to wait and see. So, second legs of those matches coming up in a couple of weeks. But it is now time for the usual Shads' Ride of the Week. So, Shads, over to you.
Oh, this is a hard one. This is probably the toughest one I've had to do. Let's go down the list of contenders. Obviously, TJ Griffiths, who's 18 points in the GP. His debut GP. Jan with 16 points in the SCS, which he won. But I mentioned Owen this week for Sizzler, 11 plus 2 from 6 for Wolves at Cowboys. Rosario is 10 points in the middle order, which was quite impressive. I mean, Marecki, 14 points, just dropped the 1 point against the Dragons. And Tintin obviously making his first appearance of the season, page 13. But I already alluded to it earlier in the server I was in. Our Ride of the Week for his 18 points in the SDS and his 11 from 5 for the Scorcher against the Dragons. It's Cam. Just to prove I don't hate him, Cam.
Cam takes the Rider of the Week from the Scorchers. Congratulations to Cam.
4 Scorchers in a row now.
You could be right there.
Is it? I don't look at the teams, I just look at the riders.
Well, to be fair,
don't forget his SCS as well.
Yeah.
It wasn't just if it had been just based on the league meetings, I'd have given it to Marecki.
To be fair, Tintin was my pick for Rider of the Week, especially after that first match score.
Yeah, you did say, but Marecki would have got it for the KO Cup for just dropping a point. But I think with Cam's 18 points in the SCS, he's unlucky not to win it. Cam just came good at the right time.
Mm.
I think that's fair. I knew Sizzler would be upset. I'm only picking riders that are upset Sizz. We're picking you next week, Dan.
I doubt I'll ever get a Rider of the Week for that. So, with that being said, we're going to head to our break. So I think we need it after all that. When we come back, we have the all-important BGP and SCS draws for round 4 in Chorzoff. And then a week 8 league preview. And then, of course, the minimum match counter discussion. So stick around. We'll see you guys in a couple minutes. you join us back here on All Four Back, episode 60 with myself, Chester 430, Hadlington and Shad, and of course our stand-in producer, Ben Thompson. So we're now into the second part of the show, and it is the all-important draw for round 4 of the BGP and SCS rounds taking place at Chorzów in Poland. So back-to-back Chorzów Poland weekend in the SCS and BGP. So if all is ready, Mr. Ben, if you would like to bring up the draws when you're ready. So here's the draws. So first up out the box, it will be running up at number 1. It will be number 93, Lofty, who comes into the full-time position of the BGP this year.
Replacing Wolfie.
Indeed, yes. Now, will he face Craig in Heat 2? Oh, nearly. It would have been Ace's teammates' first race. Number 2 will be Fakey of the former Hackney Norse. So, number 3, it will be the Oxford Dragons captain, Squall. So a very tasty looking Heat 1 so far. And going in at number 4 will be Dretlotta. So Dretlotta goes in number 4. So a very tasty looking Heat 1 now of Lofty, Fakey, Squall and Dretlotta. Moving on to number 5. And that will be the Newcastle Wolves captain. That is Sizzler, goes in at number 5. He will be joined in his first race at number 6. By Pool Cowboys captain Bobby. So Bobby goes in. So it's a captain's battle here. Sizzler and Bobby. Who is going to join them in that race, heat number 2. It will be Le Sorcier goes in at number 7. So number 7 there for Le Sorcier. They'll be joined in heat number 2, riding at number 8. It will be Racer Ryan. So Racer Ryan goes in at number 8. So a very tasty looking heat number 2 there with Sizzler, Bobby, Le Sorcier and Racer Ryan. Moving on to number 9. And we have Cappy. So Cappy goes in at number 9. Still some big names to be brought out of this hat here. To number 10. And we have last year's SCS champion, Mackinnon. Goes in at number 10. Joining them at number 11. Will be Craig. So Craig goes in at number 11. Who joins them in heat 3 at number 12. And it will be Stefan, the reigning BGP champion, goes in at number 12. Number 13 will be the current leader of the BGP, Newcastle Wolves rider Powis 84. Lovely first heat for you here, Shad. You've got 101, Hobnob and Powis. So Hobnob goes in at number 14. Two more to go. And will be Shad going in number 15. which leaves number 16, my fellow Oxford Dragon teammate, Stephen 101. So that is the lineup for the BGP taking place at Shoresoft. And some very tasty-looking heats there. Had your thoughts on this BGP lineup, mate? Look, it looks very, very competitive.
Yeah, it always is, isn't it? I mean, every race so tough in this one. I've just looked at the one. Was it heat number 8? Dretlock, Racer Ryan, Stefan, and Stephen 101.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go. Yeah. That one.
Well, mind you, Heat 9 looks a bit tasty there with Bobby, Stephen, Lofty and Craig. That's also a decent one.
Yeah, there's not...
The top two meet up in Heat number 19. Three captains there, Squall, Powers and Bobby. And the vice captain...
Stefan.
Yeah, vice captain Stefan, yeah. Just looking through to see what other race... stands out. They all look quite tasty there.
Yeah, definitely.
Shads, your thoughts on this one, mate? Of course, you're drawn at number 15 now, so some tough races to go, but you've got 2 gate 3s. What's your thoughts going into this one?
I'm trying not to think about it, to be honest with you. I've not even had a look at the track yet. I don't know what it's like. Obviously, it's a big track, so...
Well, the track record is a...
If it hasn't got a dive bomb, I'm in trouble. If it's all around the outside, forget it.
The track record is a 42.3, so it's a big track.
Or a slow track.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll soon find out. Yeah.
It's a shame that Ryan had to miss the last round because it's probably put him out of contention now. He'll qualify for next season, but getting into the top 3 is going to be a bit of an arse now. He's already 16 points behind 17 points behind Sizzler in 3rd, so I think Ryan's going to struggle now. I mean, he wasn't doing that great. I think he missed out in the last round, then he got 10 points. But yeah, it's just you just got to hope that it's a close one, and you've still got at least three going into the next round. Because we'll be approaching, we're already almost at the halfway stage now. So just got to hope it's not a runaway for someone. If I don't think it will be, I think Power Sizzler and Steph are pretty even when it comes to GPs this year, isn't it? So it's going to be it's going to be great to watch.
Well, I say we would like to get most of them like streamed, but of course, with everyone riding, there's not much really of an opportunity to have any sort of streamers going on. I mean, maybe Toby can sort of hit the record button or something. I don't know. But yeah, that meeting takes place on Sunday the 23rd at 8:30, refereed by Tank himself. So of course we're getting through that rapidly as quick as can. So we move on to the draw for the SCS now. So the wild card, or had the wild card confirmation and the changes?
Yeah, the wild card is Owen for round 4, and unfortunately Lango has stepped away from the SCS and been replaced by the first replacement, which is Hutty, for the remainder of the season.
Okay, then. So that's the changes there. So when you're ready, Ben, just let's get this draw underway.
Also for this round as well, Capesey's not riding, so when Capesey comes out, it will actually be Super Dip and not Capesey.
Right. And straight out of the box, it will be Ben Thompson now riding number 1, so straight in the first heat. Multitasking, Mr. Ben Thompson, as he always does. So number 2 will be Cam. Can he reach his a consecutive final and go one better? At number 3, it will be the wildcard Owen. So Owen goes in at number 3. Next up at 4, it will be Jan. He'll be looking for his 3rd consecutive win there. Great opening race between Cam and Jan.
And Owen.
I know, yeah, cool. And Owen as well, yeah. Number 5 sees Scotty B go in at number 5 there. He'll be joined in race number 2 and number 6. Hey, there you go, Haddington. Number 6 for you, mate. There you go. I'll get your thoughts if I can about in this one there, Shads, as a neutral. So number 7, it will be Westy Boy. Of course, Westy Boy's been scoring a hatful of points in the league. Hopefully his individual form will come to his aid in this one. So that is going to be Super Dip going in place of Capesy. Why is JC so big on the wheel? Because there's only 2 letters, so everyone's like, it zooms out. Currently sitting 2nd in the league at number 9 there, Big Slow Caney. My fellow Dragons teammate. And shouting his way into number 10 there is going to be JC. Some very interesting JC. JC, as McNally says. So, David No Fear goes in at number 11. Of course, the big talk here is the whole Cam and Rico scenario. Who's going to have the laptop in preference when they go head to head? I still think we need to get a GoFundMe account so they get separate laptops.
Don't they share a laptop when they're racing together? They share the laptop. They're racing against each other.
I think Cam's just confirming that. So Wayne goes in at number 12. We missed that there. Wayne, number 12. Hutty goes in at number 13. So 3 more to go. And we have the aforementioned Rico goes in at number 14. Two more slots to go. So it's going to be Sky or Bewitcher. It's going to be Bewitcher. Question is, will he show up? Will he make an appearance? And finally, number 16 will be Media Team's own expert commentator, Skyrider. So that is the lineup for the SCS, taking place the same night as Chores Off. Sorry, the same night as the BGP there. So, chaps, looking at the programme, which heat stands out for you the most? Haz, I'll start with you.
I haven't really looked, to be honest. Give me a second.
Obviously, heat 1.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Cam, Jan, and Owen.
And heat 1. I'm just trying to look at more. JC. Maybe heat 15.
Heat 15, Skyrider, Owen, JC, Scotty B. Yeah.
Heat 6. Heat 6. Hads.
Heat 6, Rico,
together.
JC.
Yeah.
Oh, Rico, JC, Cam, and Adlington. Okay.
Oh, I might score a point in that one then.
You might score 2 points because the last time they tried sharing the laptop together, they came third and fourth.
Yeah. TJ Griffiths saying Heat 18. Caney, Cam, Westy Boy, and Skyrider.
Good shout.
Yeah.
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 Of course, we might still get riders pulling out of this. We don't know yet, do we?
Yeah.
Because Richard didn't ride last time. Not sure if he's riding this time. I think the consensus is amongst everyone that the Friday deadline should be adhered to strictly because he didn't ride. He had no intention of riding. He didn't let anyone know he wasn't riding. So of course there was no time to get anyone else in. So 2 no riders. Not really great, is it?
Mm. That I can't agree with. I mean, it's
hopefully this week we can get the committee sticking to the rule, which they haven't done as yet, and saying if you're not in by the Friday deadline, I think it's 11 o'clock, 11 p.m. Friday, and then you're not in. Then you've got a couple of days to get someone in.
yeah. Well, that's definitely something that we can look ahead to. That's for sure. Obviously, this meeting takes place the same night as the BGP. But hopefully, if all things go according to plan, should have a good meeting. Will we see the same 4 riders in the grand final again?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
Ooh, big call.
Yeah.
I don't think so. No, I think a few people have been close. I think like Scotty, he was unlucky last time. He had 3 wins and then just made the turn a little bit too late in the semi.
I think I've got a sneaky feeling Ireland's going to have a good one.
Yeah.
I was about
to be fair.
I was about to say him as well. About Owen. I think if he has a good first ride and stays consistent, I think he'll be in touch with the semi-final. I'm sure he will.
He's got a tough one to start off with, though, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I think everybody in this meeting's got a, if they turn up and have a good meeting, anybody could make the semis or the final.
And because it's like a neutral track, so like everyone has the same level playing field going into it. So it's definitely one to keep an eye on, especially these like neutral track venues, obviously that don't get used in the league.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully we'll have a full review of it, a full preview of these matches on next week's show. But now, Chad, I think it's time we can move on to the KO Cup, week 8 of the league campaign. And you're not. Sorry, your eyes don't deceive you, but all 3 matches take place on the same night at the same time. A referee's nightmare, basically. It's going to be a lot of contingency, I think. But the first off, we do start at Newcastle. The Newcastle Wolves look to maintain their form from the KO Cup when they take on the Somerset Spartans. You see the team there. Newcastle, of course, led by Powis and then Captain Sizzler adds MFT. Unsure on the availability of Badger. He has been a bit of a MIA, shall we say?
Yeah, I can say that again.
Yeah, not the ideal team partner there, is it, Hadlington?
No comment.
Yeah. TJ Griffiths, if I'm not guessing, can everyone coordinate so I can stream 45 consecutive races? Oh God. In a word, no. Oh dear. Powers there, right to the point.
It was a pretty good stream the other night, to be fair.
It was.
He's definitely
I'd like
done
to-
that before.
I'd like to see him maybe have someone to bounce off of to see how he actually performs. I was very impressed with what I heard. So yeah. So what's the feeling in the camp like going into this match against Somerset?
That we can win, take all the points. To be fair, we know they've had a few problems. I know Mackinnon's not rode a couple of times. Neil, I don't know if people know, always been made official, but Neil isn't riding for Spartans anymore. Method's not rode at all in the league, I don't think. So it's going to be interesting to see what team they do actually turn up with.
Yeah.
So, but watch out. I'm going to say watch out for Westy Boy for Spartans, because he rode with us last year at Newcastle, and he was pretty handy around there. So I expect him to get quite a few rides if he's number 7.
So Heat 2 is looking very, very interesting. Of course, we've got the wild card for the SCS Owen riding at number 7. Of course, Westy Boy as well. So Heat 2 can be very, very competitive there. Shad, your thoughts on Newcastle Somerset? How do you see this one going?
I can see the Wolves winning this one. Most of their meetings have been pretty close apart from the last one. I don't think this will be much different. Depends which Paris turns up. If the GP Paris turns up, I think Wolves will win quite handily. If the League Paris turns up, it could be a little bit closer.
Shad's whipping pound now, says Fizz. Wow. The way that Newcastle have been riding, especially after the last match, I think they'll definitely take the win. But obviously, the Spartans have got to literally be hitting form from Heat 1. They can't be slacking, right from the off. I would say 6 to 8 points either way. If the first 4 races are sort of close, and then it's sort of like they go hit and miss. I don't know, but we'll soon see that one.
Don't forget, Dan. You've got Method who's not raced at all in the league.
Yeah.
You've got Neil who's not racing anymore, so that they've only got 6 there. So they've obviously got to find a guess, and you can't use rider replacement for riders that low in the averages.
No.
They've got to find a guest, a low point guest from somewhere.
Well, it's going to be a bit of a nightmare because, of course, every team's riding this week at the same time. So it's going to be a very interesting.
There's nobody in the pool who's low enough. I think there's only one left now, and that's Toby. And that's 7.5 as we know now. I think they're gonna be
I think even Craigie Hurl's too high for the average.
I think he's about 5. I think.
Six or something.
He'd be too high for those two.
Yeah. Craigie's a grade 10, according to from Limo there. So yeah, it does sound quite a high average for Limo there.
Quite high to replace Neil or Method. Especially Method's a 3-pointer. Method's got to get his meeting count up, as we're going to discuss soon.
Yeah. So all eyes point to a Wolves win. So we'll see what happens. Of course, you can follow the action on Discord with the recommended spreadsheets. The second match taking place on that same night. We'll see once the graphic changes on the screen. Or have we lost the feed again?
There we go.
Oh, there we go. It's the Oxford Dragons taking on the Shorefield Panthers. Now then, Hadlington. Your thoughts on Dragons Panthers?
You don't want my thoughts on Heat 8? No? Okay. Obviously, the Dragons will be wanting to bounce back straight away. Don't think they'll be. I wouldn't say I don't think they'll be losing at home. I don't know. I think Panthers, if Dragons are in the same as they did the other day, I think Panthers gonna push them a little bit. Especially Lofty seems to be scoring. He had a decent GP as well, making the semis. So I suppose it all depends as well what Bewitcher turns up. But I can see this being closer than what people think, to be honest. Especially different studio. I've got to get more dialed in around their home track. So I think I'll go for a Dragons win by 6. I'll say.
Shads, what's the feeling like in the Panthers camp?
Don't tell him.
What's the feeling like? Well,
yeah.
Personally, we haven't discussed it, but personally, I'm quite buoyed by the result the other night. But then I think back to our first meeting of the season when we got walloped 60-30, my mood sort of changes a little bit. Because we're not as good as they were the other night. I mean, they gave you a good hiding, so I don't think we're going to have enough to win it. Hopefully we can keep it closer than we did in the cup at the start of the season. But like I said before every meeting against Dragons, as long as I beat you, I'm happy with my night.
Well, let's be fair. Every media person has beaten me this year. So
I mean, not being funny, but you've had one win. You've had one win at Oxford this year, and it was the slowest time of the season. So
thank you very much, Shad. Shall we move on? Shall we move on?
If I can't beat you on that time, then I'm retiring.
Shall we move on with that remark there?
Yeah, you can move on. Please do. I wish you hadn't started, to be honest.
Yeah. So that's the Dragons Panthers. I'm going to go for a Dragons win, of course. And the final match taking place on Tuesday, we have the Cowboys against the Scorchers. And, well, if Scorchers can continue their form that they had at the Dragons, then it could be a long old night for the Cowboys. Actually, no. Well, if you had the Cowboys from last season, obviously being headed by Steph, you would think that they would actually have the home win. But I'm.
Is that you saying Stefan's better than Craig, Dan? He's just.
Well, like I said, Craig's not. Craig's raised the.
Come on.
Well, Craig, this is Craig's first season as a Cowboy, and to be honest, he hasn't hit the form that I thought he was going to be hitting. Early in the season, but we're halfway in the season. I mean, you think of Craig from like 8, 9, 10 seasons ago. He was like goated.
Such a fanboy.
What can I say? He's my best mate. So there we go. But yeah, it all depends. Like I said, if Sutton can turn up and perform like he has when he first joined, or first came back into it, he's definitely going to be the one to sort of look out for. I say Bobby and Craig need to sort of get their act together, and really hit the ground running now. They've got to make Poole a fortress. And for Scorchers, I mean, they're going to be on fire on all cylinders after that Dragons KO Cup performance. And with them being, that's their full strength side there, and they performed really, really well. I'd like to sit on the fence and say, like a really close match, but I feel like the score is going to just maybe pip it. But I can't say how much and by how many points. But I'm sure we'll find out as the meeting goes on how the teams perform. So, well, of course, with all of course, you're the main SCS referee. So, of course, these meetings are all taking place at the same time. I mean, what's happening in terms of referees? Like, is there going to be contingency? Is it going to be like one doing one doing the other? What's the ref chat been like?
It's down to the home side, surely. Down to the home side.
Anyone's about?
I think didn't you do it last time when we rode again at home and we had contingency and you did it all yourself? Well, let the home side deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Have a night off, Ben. Have a night off.
Definitely.
Let someone else do it.
Oh, brilliant!
Let someone else have a go. You concentrate on your racing, mate.
Where's the head ref asking to do it?
I'm sure it's up to the home team to sort it out. Oh, we'll just forget it then. We'll just take the 3 points and not bother racing then if they don't do it. That's fine.
I ain't saying a word.
We'll have a week off. Yeah. If they want to have it, just don't have the meeting and then we'll take the 3 points. Thank you very much.
I always thought it was the home team serve and the away team did the spreadsheet if it was contingency.
Oh yeah, I don't mind doing a spreadsheet. I do a spreadsheet. I don't feel like Ben should have to do it all again when he's actually racing. He's done it last time. Let someone else have a go.
Yeah.
Correct.
Well, we'll soon see. Anyways, on to the, dare I say, the main event of tonight's program. And it's the minimum match counter. Now, of course, every season, riders have to complete a certain amount of meetings before the season ends. There's the spreadsheet in question. So, I mean, I don't know how many you got to have. So I'll just let you guys discuss because I have no idea.
No, Dan, come on. Well, every rider has to ride physically in 4 matches, and the facility or the rider is 6 matches, I believe.
Yeah, it's changed from last season, hasn't it?
And if to get an average change after next week, you have to ride at least 1 at home and 1 away. So those is when you rode 2 matches. The averages won't change and they'll stay the same for the rest of the season.
So looking at those spreadsheets, who needs to ride more matches? Is there anyone that stands out for you?
Method.
What else we got? I'm not mentioning Badger.
Method's got to ride in at least 4, and they've got a facility for 6.
If we can zoom in on the spreadsheet, Ben, if you could, mate. Just to get a bit closer view. Thank you.
Rossi's got a ride. He's only rid 1. Hasn't rode at home yet. Tintin, obviously. Tintin hasn't rode. It might have been a facility at home, hasn't it? Yeah.
Method has to be in every remaining Spartans meeting, says Powers, riding in 4 of them himself. So
yeah, and there's no 3-pointers in the league.
No.
And there's very few in the league as well. Because Hutty's average won't be 3 after he's currently averaging just over 5. So it's going to be difficult. Probably you, Dan. Your average will be below 3.
Well, apparently my home average is 1.33, so I'm definitely below it.
You can only use a guest once at home and once away.
I might get some guest appearances then, second half of the season.
we're just looking at the Cowboys and Scorchers at the moment there, and the Panthers too. So
Yeah, Rossi has to ride 5 matches as well. Tintin has to ride 5. Pompey as well.
I've got 2 more to race before I get the minimum.
Yeah.
It's very. Yeah, Liam can race for Spartans Tuesday if needed reserve guest. I can turn the power off on his side of the house. She's like, you naughty. Oh dear, says. Wow.
I think the Scorchers would be fine with Tintin because his availability is pretty good. He had some domestics at the start of the season. So no, I think he's back now, and he'll probably racing most of the meetings unless there's a track he doesn't like. I think the Spartans are going to be struggling with Method. And with another, I think Dragons are fine. They've used pretty much everyone. Julio's had guests for himself and rider replacements for himself, so they'll be all right. Badger might struggle. But I think like I said, the ones who are the most trouble are going to be the Spartans. They're going to have to sort something out with Method and Neil.
Yeah. TJ Griffiths there says, what's the punishment if the minimum match counter isn't fulfilled? Wayne's response, a night with Winchester.
There is. I think they have to ride the meeting with no rider in that position, I believe.
Yeah.
I think that's something that was mentioned. And also there's some sort of method where they take points off the team. I don't know how they do it. Tank's probably the bloke to ask.
Yeah, but it's not unfortunate.
No.
I guess we'll all see each other in the reserve pairs then, won't we?
Just go with one
most possibly. Or a number 8 riders championship. Just 7 riders.
Yeah, that's a good point. If you bottom 2 and the averages aren't around, what happens in the reserve pairs?
I think it's the bottom 3, isn't it, normally?
The bottom 3, there's 2 of the 3 aren't around. You just go with one rider.
So Dragons bottom 3 is going to be Caney, Heppel, and myself.
Didn't if I'm thinking right, didn't Kane guess for somebody in the reserve pairs and win it with somebody?
Didn't you win it with You won it with Steph at the Edinburgh thing?
No, I'm on about I think the reserve pairs he guested for somebody, and they ended up winning. Was it Pies he guested for? I think.
Powers will know that because he always does.
And then yeah, I think so.
Wow.
What was we saying?
Chester doesn't realise that they ever changed before the pairs night. Hobnob with me and Caney was at Weymouth. So it was Hobnob and Pay. There we go.
Kane guested in the reserve pair for somebody and he won.
Crazy.
He won it with the Cowboys a couple of seasons back.
So also, the second legs of the knockout cup will be done with the new averages as well.
Yeah.
Which will be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Paris at reserve.
No, I've got that spot, mate. Don't worry.
Powers won't be reserved for a very long time. You would have to have a shocker of a season to get an average that low. He won't drop from like 9.1. Absolutely not. He's too good for that.
According to says he's having a stinker.
He's on a 6.4. Must be the track he's at, says. That's what it is.
I don't tell him that.
He picked it. Oh, did he? Whoops. Oh dear. Useless clown. I will not have a bad word against Newcastle.
Is that like Stefan picked the Oxford track?
I ain't got a clue, mate. ain't got a clue. Because to be fair, I wasn't actually involved in the team, but until after.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah,
track selection.
Yeah,
I wasn't going to be even involved, but here I am now in the season. So yeah. So with that being said, with these numbers and stuff making my head hurt, I think it's only fair we can close the show tonight. Looking ahead to next week, we have the Week 8 league reviews. We have the BGP and Round 4 extensive previews of the Round 4 at Chorzoff. And we have the BL pairs and BL reserve pairs draw, as well as Week 9, which is the second leg of the KO Cup. Second legs between the Dragons and Scorchers, and Wolves and Cowboys. So, with that being said, I want to say a massive thank you and a good night to our stand-in producer, Mr. Ben Thompson. If you're there, mate, a very good night to you, and thank you again for dropping in. Yeah, that's cool. Hopefully, we'll be recording, hopefully on YouTube tomorrow at 8 o'clock. I hope. Fingers crossed. Brilliant, mate. Thank you for that. So, I'll say a good night to Shads, and I will see you on Tuesday.
Yeah, you won't see me because I'll be too far ahead of you. I won't be on the same screen as you.
and it's a good night from Hadlington. Good evening, sir.
Good night, all.
And it's a you bugger. And it's a good night from me, Chester. Join us for episode 61 of Awful back next week, same time, same place, same channel. Until then, enjoy racing, and we'll see you all next week. See you later.